Retooled and ready, yesterday was a total team effort.
Step bigger lead for Gordon.
He's going. Pitch a ball.
Bethencourt's throw. Got it. Perfect throw. Bouncing ball right at Gordon. Contact plays on. Played safe. Young beat the wrap. How about that? Up the middle. Simmons ranges. Backhand flip. Barehand throw to first. What a double play.
At the plate, on the bases, in the field, and on the hill, the Braves battled for a 2-1 win.
Line to second, and the Braves have won it.
Tonight, Alex Wood takes the hill, armed and ready for Game 2 of the 50th season of Atlanta Braves baseball. Major League Baseball's opening week continues from the banks of the Miccosukee Canal. Here at Marlins Park, it's Game 2 of the season as the Braves and Miami Marlins hook up in Game 2 of the series. Jace Peterson, what a debut for Atlanta yesterday. Eric Young scored what proved to be the winning run, and Atlanta tries to go to 2-0 against the Marlins tonight. Beautiful night for baseball. Glad you're with us here in South Florida. Partner, a great way to start the Braves season yesterday afternoon. Let's tick back to 2014. In many ways, a forgettable season for the Braves, but one of the highlights was the pitching in the month of April. Let's remember the Braves pitched to a staff ERA of 2.59 as a group. Yesterday's pitching performance reminded us all of that performance.
I think it was 17 wins in the month of April last year, too, that got them off to a great start. And a lot of it, as you said, was dictated by pitching. Same last night. Julio Teheran came out throwing BBs, 94 miles an hour early in the ball game. Retired the first 6 he faced, turned it over to the bullpen. Avilan got the huge double play. Jim Johnson retired everybody he faced. And then Jason Grilli. What an exciting finish for him, knowing that he was the guy thrust into that position just the night before. So wonderful numbers last night for Teheran. Gave up only the 1 run and 1 walk. And then the bullpen was absolutely perfect. No hits, no walks, no runs. Wonderful job by those guys. Let's see if they can do it again. Let's see if the offense can produce what they did last night in terms of fundamentals and maybe score a few more runs.
And let's speak of the offense. Let's not forget about the man from Woodstock. Nick Markakis in his Braves debut laid the lumber on the Marlins. He drove in both Braves runs. A dandy debut indeed, and he will chat with Jen Hildreth about his season opening performance when we come back to Miami right after this.
Welcome back to Miami. Game 2 of the Braves season opening series against the Marlins about to get underway here from Marlins Park. Hey everybody, I'm Jen Hildreth. So glad to be back talking some Braves baseball with you. And I think yesterday in the season opener, we got a chance to see how different this Braves team can look, but also how good it can look when they do the little things right. We had some good small ball played yesterday to manufacture just enough runs to get the 2-1 win. And the guy responsible for bringing in both of the Braves runs is the new right fielder, Nick Markakis. And I had a chance to talk with him about his Braves debut.
Yeah, it was a good day all around. We won, so that's our main purpose and our main goal. And anytime you can win 1-run games, it's definitely big. It says a lot about your ball club. We played well as a team together, and we did the little things and ended up winning the ball game.
We just have to work on Nick's energy a little bit. I mean, he could have been talking about his grandmother's latest sewing project there. I don't think I've seen him make a different facial expression since I met the guy. But you know what? As long as he's performing, who cares? He's doing the good things. And Markakis will again be batting third for the Braves tonight. Eric Young Jr. will lead things off, and Chip and Joe will get you set for the first pitch when we come back.
Game 2 of the season. Braves trying to make it 2 straight over the Fish. Here's a look at Freddie Gonzalez's batting order presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Nick Markakis, both Braves RBIs in his Atlanta debut. Same lineup with the exception of Chris Johnson. He gets his first start of the season. He'll be at third base. Andrelton Simmons at short hits 8th, and Alex Wood will pitch. And bad night.
And on the mound for the Marlins tonight, making his first start in a Marlins uniform, is Matt Latos. He's a local guy out of Coconut Creek, Florida. About to start his 6th year in the big leagues, came over from the Cincinnati Reds. There are the numbers from last year, and if you were with us for the opening comments, he was out of action a lot for the Reds with a sore elbow and a bad knee. He got the elbow cleaned up in the offseason, says he's 100% healthy and plans to stay that way. He throws hard, right over the top, usually around a strikeout per inning pitched. He was an 11th round pick originally by the Padres back in 06. And as I said, 60 and 45. I did not know that before tonight. And an ERA for his career at 3.34. That's better than I thought, too.
And, Joe, considering where he pitched the last few years in that hitter-friendly ballpark in Cincinnati, you're right, that is indeed saying something for Matt Latos. He hopes the Marlins have a better day of field tonight. Their defense presented by CPI Security. Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton from left to right in the outfield. Echeverria and Gordon up the middle. Morse and Martin Prado at the corners. Jared Saltalamacchia is behind the plate. Masters week, the Braves, as I said yesterday, broke out their ping offense. 2 runs was enough to win 2-1 yesterday because of the outstanding work by the Braves pitching staff. We'll see if Alex Wood can turn the trick tonight.
As Nick said just a minute ago, they did all the little things right last night. Hopefully that can continue.
So Eric Young Jr. leads off for Atlanta. Had a double in 4 trips last night. Matt Latos turns it loose and missed high and tight. Las Diaz has the plate for game 2 of the series. And that one a perfect pitch to even the count. That's a little low. 2 balls and a strike. You made a good point about the Marlins, Joe. They have the potential to have a terrific ball club this year, but they are concerned about the depth of their pitching staff. And as good as Latos has been in the past, there have to be some question marks about him as he starts this 2015 year.
Well, they got him, and they also got Dan Herron. Dan Herron's a veteran who's been around a long time. He didn't even know if he wanted to pitch another year, especially across the country from where he lives in California. He decided he would go ahead with it. So those 2 guys, they're still kind of feeling their way. The Marlins are as to what have they got in the tank. And until Jose Fernandez comes back, their 5 guys are a bit iffy.
Question marks.
Yeah, no dominance, but
right.
They just need him to pitch well.
Little pop on play. We were talking with Marlins broadcaster Tommy Hutton about that. He made a good point too. He likes his pitchers with track records. You mentioned the track record of Herron, the track record of Latos, but the other youngsters for the Marlins, not a whole lot of numbers on the back of the bubblegum card.
And as we said last night, they're a little thin in depth. If anything were to happen to Latos again, or to Herron, or if somebody went down, they don't have a whole lot of depth there.
EY coaxes a leadoff walk. Good start for the Braves offense. And Jace Peterson will come a-calling. Latos only walked 26 guys in 102 innings last year, so that's a rarity. Let's see if Atlanta can take advantage. Jace had an impressive Braves debut yesterday.
Looked great. Got that hit his first at bat. That takes a lot of pressure off. Turned a great double play with Andrelton. Put down a good bunt.
Let's see how aggressive Freddie Gonzalez is early in the game. The Braves tried to run a lot this spring. Eric Young can steal a base for you. Had 30 of them last year. And a big hole on the right side of the Marlins infield with Morse holding Young at first. He's got a big lead. Just took a strike. Peterson had a first inning hit, took second on a balk, and scored on Nick Markakis' single to center field last night. Yesterday afternoon, actually.
He's not real slow to the plate, but he's a big guy, 6'6", 245. Takes him a little while to get unfurled out there. Maybe Young can get a good jump on him.
Another half step on the lead. And he's going. Good jump. Ball in the dirt. Salty's throw has no chance. Eric Young Jr. steals second easily.
He even tried a slide step, and that's not something that comes natural to Latos. That's why the pitch was in the dirt, or almost in the dirt. And a real tough pitch for Saltalamacchia to throw on. No chance.
So now Peterson's job to get EY to third for Nick Markakis, who waits on deck. Ball and a strike for the Braves second baseman. Tomahawk high for a strike.
Last year, the Braves had a great record when they scored first. They were 51-19 when they scored first in a ball game. Last night they scored first. And this year, with what they're going to have to do to score runs, getting on top early is really big.
There were a lot of happy, smiling faces in the Braves clubhouse after the game yesterday afternoon. More on that after the pitch, which is yanked foul. And Bill Bartholomé said it was like winning the World Series, which is fun to think about. But the way the Braves scripted out their style of play, the game followed that script to a T.
Yeah, they did all the things that they'd been working on to show what it was going to take to be successful this year. And on every occasion, they were successful doing it.
Fly ball toward left. Yelich will give ground. He'll make the play. Peterson can't get Young to third with a fly out to left. One down for Markakis. Sharply hit. But out number one. Hope you enjoyed Jen's chat with Nick Markakis as we took air tonight. Freddie Gonzalez was talking about his effort yesterday and said pretty good job for a guy that only had 25 at-bats this spring. He's not really in game shape yet. I mean, this is like the second, third week of spring training for Nick. Wouldn't note it yesterday.
Kind of funny though. If you can hit, you can hit. It doesn't matter if you've got one at-bat in spring training. For most guys that have this kind of ability.
Markakis had 11 multi-RBI games for the Orioles last season. He had a multi-RBI game in his first wearing a Braves uniform here in game one. Good lead by Young at second. Echeverria trying to keep him close with one out. And a liner into the seats out of play. It's 0-2. Only 2 weeks for Nick in the spring, huh, Jen?
Yeah, but Chip, Joe was exactly right. Nick said, hey, spring training is mostly for the pitchers. Most hitters will tell you that a week or two of at-bats is enough, and he felt he got exactly what he needed from this organization. Got a few extra at-bats down in the minor leagues at the end of spring training, and he said he came in here feeling great.
Yeah, in those minor league games, he could lead off every inning, get 8, 9, 10 at-bats in a game if he wanted to. Faces an 0-2 pitch from Latos, and he fought it off. This is vintage Nick Markakis. You said watching him in the playoffs last year, one of the better two-strike hitters you saw.
Tough out, puts the ball in play, hates to strike out. Strikeouts have become acceptable and the norm in baseball these days. It's not acceptable or the norm for Nick.
Only struck out 100 times or more twice in his big league career. And he serves that one into left field for a base hit. Here comes Young around third. Yelich will have no play, and Nick Markakis drives home his third run of the season. And Atlanta has jumped in front in the first inning again. It's 1-0.
And see what he did. He's behind in the count. He's got a guy in scoring position. He's not trying to hit the ball out of the park. He's guarding the plate. He got a breaking ball up. and just served it into left field. Good base running by Eric Young to recognize that it was through the hole. No chance for Yelich, but just a great display of two-strike hitting again by Markakis.
And again, the Braves play ABC baseball. Got him on, got him over, and Markakis brought him in with a single to left. Now Freddie Freeman hits. Freddie was 1 for 4 yesterday. And he had a good rip, fouled straight back.
That hanging breaking ball, if you're just thinking about yanking the ball or trying to hit it in the seats, good chance you might roll over it, pull it foul. But all Nick was thinking about there, it was pretty obvious. Is it up the middle or the other way, even on a hanger?
In the air, left center. That's well hit. Yelich on a dead sprint, still going back. Warning track, can't get it. It's off the wall. Markakis on his way to third. He's going to get waved. The relay throw, short hops the shortstop and is cut off. It's a double for Freeman, and the Braves lead 2-0.
First RBI for the Braves on the year from someone not named Markakis. Fastball outer third and just crushed to the right of the 386 mark out there toward the lovely sculpture. And Markakis, another good base running read, scores from first on the double.
It's 2-0 Atlanta in the top of the first inning, and Christian Bethancourt will be the batter. Right now, Latos isn't exactly dazzling. That last fastball he threw is at 91 miles an hour. That is not like Latos at 100%. That ball in the dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. Bethancourt had a great day behind the plate last night. He called an excellent game and threw out D. Gordon.
Excellent job. That's what they want from him. The offense will be kind of a bonus. He hit the ball hard twice last night, but right at people.
He had a funny line after the game, too, talking about the double play ball induced by Avalon. He was worried he was going to throw it right over Freddie Freeman's head. He was extra careful when he threw that laser beam to first to complete the double play.
You know, thinking back on it, he did take his time.
Let's see if the Braves can add another one here. 2-0, 1 out in the first. A shot toward right center field. That's going to get down and roll to the wall. Freeman can crawl home. Bethancourt's got 2. Big turnaround second. He'll stop there. Back-to-back doubles. It is 3-0.
When Christian came up last year, one of the things that impressed me the most about him was how hard he could hit the ball to the right side of the diamond. Fastball had a lot of the plate, maybe a little bit on the inner third, and he takes it to right center and deep into the gap. And Latos having a hard time getting ahead in the count and a hard time of locating.
So 3 in the first for the Braves, and Kelly Johnson the batter. The Braves, my vantage point, are getting good looks at Latos. When they're fouling the ball off, it's coming straight back.
It's fastball. His fastball is at 89 to 91, and they are all over it. Markakis hit a hanging breaking ball, but the others, the fastball is getting raked.
That one pops away from Salty, and Bethancourt will stroll to third.
These guys did not. The reason they have some concerns about their starting pitching is that they didn't have that good a spring. Nobody pitched that. Nobody really lit it up in spring training. So that iffiness you were talking about, the question marks, are because they didn't do anything to give Mike Redmond any confidence that they were all ready to go.
Infield in the first inning. And to your point about Latos, 15 1/3 innings this spring, and ERA over 7 for the Marlins. He's ahead of Kelly Johnson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's cued out of play foul. A lot of pitches thrown by Latos, 26 so far in this opening inning.
And for the most part, his fastball's been real straight, too.
Now he doesn't have a go-to pitch. Nothing's working for him.
No.
So let's see what Kelly gets. 2-2. That missed inside. Full count.
Last night the Braves got the go-ahead run on a contact play with Eric Young at third base in the infield end. I can't imagine that will be the same with Bethancourt on a ground ball. Doesn't have that kind of speed.
And that missed low. Latos walks Kelly Johnson. He's been chirping a bit. Not sure if he's mad at himself or he's mad at Las Diaz's strike zone. And now he's got Braves runners at the corners with 1 out, and Chris Johnson will make his debut, and Chuck Hernandez, the Marlins pitching coach, will make his first visit to the mound.
Well, the first batter of the ball game got on to start all this with a walk, and a hard-earned walk by Eric Young at the time on a 3-2 count. Eric was fighting off a pitch or two to get it there. Speed's a great weapon, and as we talk about Dee Gordon with the Marlins, if he gets on, he's a lot of trouble. He's a headache. He puts pressure on the defense. And the same goes for a leadoff man like Eric Young or Cameron Maybin or whomever the Braves now can put at the top of the order that can run.
And Brad Hand has already gotten up in the Marlins bullpen. Latos about to make his 30th pitch of the first inning.
See if Chris jumps on the first pitch.
He did, and he skies it deep left. Yelich on the run, at the track, at the wall. That's over his head. 1 run scores. Here comes Kelly around third. They're going to throw up a late stop sign, and Johnson will scramble back to third. Chris Johnson obliterated the first pitch, and he doubles off the fence. It's 4-0 Atlanta.
When you've got a guy who's struggling to throw strikes, and you're getting reports already in the dugout, when you go up there, you got to look first pitch fastball because he needs to get ahead in the count for a change. And I mean to tell you, Chris Johnson's first pitch he sees in the season just missed getting out of here, off the wall and then off Yelich. And I don't know how Kelly stopped. I really don't. I mean, that was pretty good break action on his part.
He skidded about 5 feet.
He must have good Achilles.
Here's Andrelton Simmons, and he takes a check swing strike. 2 birds out for Matt Latos in this first inning. 4 Braves runs on 4 hits, 3 doubles, a single, and a pair of walks. That caught a corner. It's 0-2.
There's nothing wrong with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball if you've got some movement to it. If you're putting it in a good spot, running it off the plate, making guys maybe hit it off the end of the bat. But his fastball is straight.
Everton stayed alive and fouled it straight back.
Yeah, spoiled a good pitch. Well, be greedy here. You've got 4 in the bank. I'm sure Alex Wood is almost passed out over there in the dugout. He got so little run support last year.
Braves gave him an average of 3 runs a game of run support last year. He's got 4 here in the first, and he's on deck. And Simmons ripped it straight back again. Up the middle, a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Chris around third. Ozuna has no play. It's 6-0.
And the Boo Birds. Last night was a miserable opening day for the Marlins. What with the roof open and the rain delay, and then losing. And because of some mistakes they made on the field. So the fans that came out today were hoping for kind of a restart, a better night. They're not getting it.
Even the stoic Mike Redmond shaking his head in the Marlins dugout. So Alex Wood bats in the first. He leads by 6, and he'll lay down a bunt. And Morse will make the flip to first.
Great job.
So Wood out on the sacrifice. Simmons to second. 2 outs now, and Eric Young will bat for a second time in the opening inning.
That at bat by Andrelton was a good one. He spoiled that slider, fouled it off, then he got busted in on his hands, thinking he might be hanging out over the plate a little bit the way he fouled off that slider, and he fouled off the good fastball on his hands, and then got a pitch he could hit.
So his first hit drives home a couple of runs. 6 runs on 5 Braves hits. And Latos falls behind yet again. We can get used to 6 in the first every night.
I like that.
Ripped into right center field. That'll get down for a hit. Here comes Simmons around third. He's going to score. It's 7-0. Woohoo! And Mike Redmond's on the second step, and now he's on the warning track, and now he's going to go get Matt Latos.
Latos had a lot of family and friends here for his first start. He's always been a huge Marlins fan. This was not what he wanted.
2/3 of an inning. 7 runs across so far.
Braves have seen a lot of him. This guy was a second-round pick by the Marlins back in 2008. Got to the big leagues pretty fast, and they really had high hopes for him as a starter. But his first year, he went 1-8 in 12 starts. Got knocked around in 1 start the next season. In 2013, they started using him more in the bullpen, and last year, 32 games, 16 starts, he was 3-8 with a .438. They've got the same problem with him right now. They'd like for him to be a starter, but unreliable, inconsistent, and he's kind of one of their backup plans if one of these guys is not able to stay healthy or can't get anybody out like we've seen tonight.
Jace Peterson greets him first with Young at first and 2 outs. And has to take one for the team. He's got to go as long and hard as he can to save the rest of the Marlins bullpen tonight. In the dirt, and an even count for Jace. 6 hits, 2 walks, a stolen base, and 7 runs. And at this point, not a single strikeout, which was the trend of game 1 for the Braves. They didn't have their first strikeout until the 6th inning.
Yeah, no homers. A couple of doubles.
Good pitch. And now the count's even, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that was a good fastball, 92. But again, just as straight as could be and right at the middle of the plate. And he's lucky that Jace fouled it off.
That almost hit it. Full count.
Breaking ball that got away from him. He's lucky he didn't catch part of the jersey.
This is the 45th Marlins pitch of the inning. And that's outside. Peterson takes a walk. So Hand comes out of the bullpen, issues a free pass, and now he's got to face Nick Markakis, who's knocked in 3 runs in 2 games for Atlanta, including one tonight. How many times last year, partner, did we hear Freddie Gonzalez say, keep the line moving? That's exactly what the Braves have done in this first inning. Markakis, the 12th man to hit.
Kept the line moving by putting the ball in play and not swinging at bad pitches. He's drawn 3 walks to go with 6 hits. And remember, the Braves gave him one of the outs on the bunt.
To short. Echeverria with the peg to first. What a first inning for Atlanta. 7 runs on 6 hits, and Alex Wood has plenty of run support to work with. He's Matt Latos. Now a look at the Marlins starting 9 presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Same starting 8 for them. Yelich will bat in front of Giancarlo Stanton, and Christian does such a great job hitting against lefties. That 8 for 19 mark against Alex Wood, not at all surprising, but man, Alex has to feel great about the start of this ball game tonight.
No kidding. You see the numbers from last year. 24 years old, 6'4", 215 out of Charlotte, and a second-round pick in 2012 out of UGA. His 4 keys to pitching success. Well, these were written up about 35 minutes ago, so I think it does apply. Runs to work with, check, taking care of that. And uses changeup to the middle of their order, specifically their right-handed hitters in the middle of the order. He's got a good changeup and use it wisely.
And he'll face Dee Gordon and Powder River for a strike. Braves always have to worry about the bunt with Dee Gordon. He had 55 infield hits last year. He had a hit yesterday and drove in a run. And he's quickly behind 0-2. That's what you love to see from Alex. Big lead. Pretend it's nothing. Get after it.
Right. It's so early. You've got to, as most pitchers would tell you still got to go out there and think about it being a close ball game.
Nice catch by a fan down the left field line on an 0-2 foul ball from Dee Gordon. In the air and fair to left. Dee Gordon with a blue pit on a 2-strike count. And the Marlins leadoff man is aboard to start the game.
Tried to come inside. The target was inside, but up and out over the plate, and he just fought it off.
So Gordon measures off the big lead with Christian Yelich. And as we showed you, 8 for 19 against Alex Wood head-to-head. And Yelich last year hit lefties to the tune of a .377 batting average. That's why he's such a good hitter. Interesting stat on Alex Wood. Remember last year how much trouble he had retiring the first hitter in the ball game? They hit him to a .337 average.
Always in the stretch at the beginning.
That's off the plate, even count, and a ball and a strike.
Alex had a good spring. I remember Tom Glavine, when he was in camp as one of the guest instructors, talking about how he projected Alex to have a big year. He was really working hard, had matured, you know, he felt like he belonged instead of just trying to do what he could to be on the ball club. He knew he belonged and was a big part of the plan.
Well, remember last year he started in rotation, got no run support, then went to the bullpen out of necessity, then was sent to AAA to stretch out as a starter. And then when Gavin Floyd hurt his elbow in Washington, Alex Wood was summoned to Atlanta and rejoined the rotation, where he pitched great baseball, but again had no runs to play with. Almost remarkable, Joe, that he won 11 games last season.
It was, especially the way he pitched the last part of the season.
Line into right field. That's a hit. Miami will play it station to station. Back-to-back hits to start the game for the Fish. And here comes Giancarlo Stanton, and he can make it interesting with one swing of the bat.
And Yelich now 9 for 20 against him. How about this, though, for Alex? His last 11 starts last year, a 1.92 ERA, barely a 200 average against him, and yet he was still only 4-3 because of that lack of run support.
One of those games with no run support came against the Marlins when he won that shootout lost that shootout with Jose Fernandez 1-0. You might remember that game. So here's Stanton. Giancarlo 1 for 4 yesterday. And a strike. And that hit was a missile to shortstop Andrelton Simmons. I don't know if he could react in time. That's how hard it was hit.
Yeah, he was laughing about it today. Just fortunate to get his body out of the way.
Woods had good luck against Giancarlo. He's held him to a 2 for 16 lifetime batting mark head to head. And that's outside. You know all about the mammoth power of Stanton, but frankly last year he didn't do an awful lot of damage against Braves pitching. He hit 200 against Atlanta, and in 75 at bats struck out 27 times. Out here sure would be nice.
Struck out twice last night. Braves have had some success going up the ladder on him.
Wonder if the long top half of the first sapped some of Alex Wood's first inning rhythm. Long time between the bullpen warm-up and his first pitch of the game. 27-minute top of the first saw the Braves score 7 runs. Ooh, just missed.
There was the changeup. Didn't get the call. A little bit inside. Christian was trying to frame it for him, but couldn't.
3 balls and a strike for Stanton. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. Well, this sure is a turnabout from the action around the big leagues yesterday. First time in Major League history there were 6 shutouts on opening day. And 14 teams scored 2 runs or less. Braves have scored 7 in the first, and the Marlins are threatening with a big inning themselves.
Well, Alex needs somebody to hit a ball at someone, not because he needs a double play here. It would just make him feel a little better if like the two balls that were put in play, one a little bloop and the other one through the hole, so that he's not pitching so fine, not trying to be so careful for fear of making a mistake now. Let's get a ball hit at someone.
First baseman Michael Morse. Big strike. Morse out of Fort Lauderdale, so he too playing here at home. Big fastball. And he didn't get it. 0-2.
He will chase upstairs too, as you just saw. But he's got power to all parts of this ballpark. And even though this is a vast center field, he still can hit it out of here. Two good breaking balls to in this at bat too.
Bases full of Marlins. Nobody out, first inning. 0-2 from Michael Morse. And he got it. Big first out for Alex Wood.
Turn the fastball over a little bit. Down and away. Morse too close to take for him, and he can't reach it. Big first out. Remember, the Marlins had the bases loaded, nobody out last night. The key part of the ball game, Braves were able to get out of that with some great relief pitching by Avilan and Johnson. This would be a sore spot if they don't pick up a run or two here.
Tough man to get, though, and Martin Prado. Although Martin makes a lot of contact, he's a candidate for 2. Hit 20 double plays last year. Martin Prado taking over third base for the Marlins. Casey McGee left to join the San Francisco Giants. They had a vacancy because Pablo Sandoval signed a big deal with the Red Sox. Fastball. Martin's one of my favorite people in the game, one of my favorite players in the game. He's really going to help the Marlins, I think.
Good spot here for that changeup too, if he puts it in a good spot. Another good heater.
He's got Prado behind the count. 1-2 strikes.
You probably can see the difference, literally see the difference between the 91 fastball of Alex Wood versus what you saw from Latos in the top of the inning. Latos' ball right over the top, downward plane, straight as a string. Alex's fastball, especially to the right-handers, has really been running away from them a little bit off the plate and has some sink to it.
See if that sets up the outside corner now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Double play ball. There's 1. There's 2. Inning over.
How about it?
For the second game in a row, Miami loads the bases and cannot score. 7-0, and we're through the first. Joe and Chip, Jen Hildreth with you from Miami, all Atlanta in game 2 of the season. 7 first inning runs for Alex Wood.
Braves have chased Matt Latos. Now go to work in the 5th against Brad Hand, who's done a nice job in relief. He's thrown 3 1/3 scoreless innings and has allowed only a hit and a walk. Bethancourt, Kelly Johnson, Chris Johnson. At third, Martin, low throw, and Morse with the stretch got his man for out number 1.
Threw in a sinker.
Hands retired 6 straight. Now Kelly hits. Shelby Miller and Tom Kohler here tomorrow night. Off day Thursday, home opener for the Braves Friday night. Good seats still available at Turner Field. Big crowds expected for the Braves home opener. The parking lots will be permit only. Remember that. Fans are encouraged to use MARTA. If you don't have parking passes, popped up right side. D. Gordon and Morse will gather. It'll be Morse who makes the play. 2 out. Fireworks after the game. And Stoltz and Neese will match up at Turner Field.
Saturday, Tehran's back out there against Dylan G, who's been kind of a nemesis for the Braves. And then Sunday, Alex Wood again against Bartolo Colon, who was fabulous last night for the Mets against Washington.
Oldest starter on opening day in the history of the Mets. They beat Max Scherzer in Washington. Braves, by the way, are not going to use their 5th starter, Trevor Cahill. That gives him some extra opportunities to work with Roger McDowell. Cahill available in the bullpen. Long relief before he makes his first start for the Braves. That was a real under-radar move made by Atlanta in the waning days of spring training. Cahill, a former 18-game winner, who was the odd man out for the Diamondbacks starting rotation. Archie Bradley, their young phenom. So they wanted in their starting 5, and Cahill was made available to Atlanta.
Yeah, their desire to have a young kid start the season in the rotation became a real benefit to the Atlanta Braves by getting Cahill for a minor league outfielder.
One and 2 for Chris, and a cue shot, foul at first. This on a Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
And one of those extra base hits was tonight. Part of the 7-run first inning. Double deep off the left center field wall.
On the first pitch he saw this year.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd say he's kind of following in the footsteps of the hitting fool Matt Diaz against the Marlins. Remember how Matt used to wear these guys out? Left side, deep short. Echeverria, beautiful grab and a beautiful throw. Got his man by a step.
Big league play there, folks. A lot of shortstops wouldn't have even gotten to that ball, let alone made a play on it.
He'd have a Gold Glove of his own were it not for Andrelton Simmons. That was spectacular. Another 1-2-3 for Hand to end the Atlanta 5th.
Well, we talked about that last night, that anytime these two teams play, you're going to get a showcase of shortstops that are, we certainly know how good Andrelton is. It's been proven by all of those measurements that are now in vogue, but also his Gold Gloves.
Saltalamacchia to left. One pitch and 1 out.
And by plays like Echeverria just made, that these two guys are arguably the best 2 shortstops in the league. That's more like it for Alex. Early count outs.
He's ready for his 70th pitch. And here is Echeverria. He's doubled up in his first at bat. Echeverria was part of that haul from Toronto that Joe was talking about earlier. All the big names went to the Jays, but this young man came in return. Long run. Miami, I think, won that trade. Dumped a lot of payroll. Went through the growing pains last year. Now they've got one of the game's best young shortstops anchoring the defense up the middle.
Yeah, and part of the deal was included him because with Jose Reyes going to Toronto, there was no place for this guy to play in Toronto, and what a pickup.
Two balls and a strike. Echeverria hit .276 for the Marlins last year. Had a rough spring. Plate up in Jupiter, Florida, which is just north of here. That's the Marlins spring training home. They share that with the Cardinals. Another full count. Donovan Solano's grabbed the bat. He'll hit for Hand next. And a one-out walk. The third of the game for Alex Wood. Fans see the home of the Braves in a whole new way. Take a behind-the-scenes tour of the Braves press box, broadcast booth, clubhouse, and dugout. Tours are offered all season and begin at the Braves Museum and Hall of Fame. For more information, call 404-614-2311. I know our ace booth audio man David Poole is sprucing up the booth for us in preparation for our work on Friday night at home. It will be Donovan Solano. A strike. Boy, nice job for Brad Hand.
Yeah.
Really had to pick up the bullpen. 4 1/3 innings of scoreless relief. He allowed a hit. Retired the last 8 Braves he saw. Ball into strike. Donovan Solano, whose brother Jonathan Solano was in camp with the Fish.
Remember last year, Braves came in here the first trip, they got swept. There was some talk about how there might be some sign stealing, or there was a little suggestion of it somehow, some way in this ballpark.
Yeah.
Well, it may have carried over. I think it did for the rest of the year here for the Braves, in that even with no runner at second base, I just noticed Bethancourt going through a series of signs, and that's what reminded me of it.
Lined into right field. That's going to get down for a hit. Markakis can't cut it off. That'll roll to the wall and score a run. And Solano had a couple of big games against the Braves last year. In fact, he had 2 4-hit games against Atlanta as a pinch hit triple. And that puts Miami on the board to make it a 7-1 game.
Went after him, fastball down. Trouble is, the guy before him got on base by way of a walk when he missed badly on that 3-2 count to Echeverria, so cost Alex a run. Corners will play in case Gordon wants to bunt him in.
Gordon's 1 for 2 with a first inning single. Sam Dyson will be the next Marlins pitcher. You're right. The Braves in late April last year lost 9-0, 9-3, and 5-4 here at Marlins Park.
And the next time they came back, they swept the Fish, I believe.
Won 3-2, 9-5, and 4-2. Those were 9-10 against Miami. Sharply hit. Peterson will play it off his chest. The Braves will surrender the run. They'll take the out. It's an RBI for Gordon. Solano scores to make it a 7-2 game.
Hard hit ball. And not an easy one to stay in front of if you're Jace Peterson, but he did. Corners were in, but the middle infielders were back, so all he had to do, all he wanted to do was make sure the ball didn't get through him and get the out.
Here's Yelich. And the Braves bullpen begins to stir just a bit. As Woods up to 83 pitches. 7-2 game. May sound funny to say, but this is a big out to get. You're going to bring Stanton up with a chance to make it a 3-run game. Fly ball, deep center. Young got a good jump, and he'll get there to retire the side. Miami picks up a couple of runs on a hit. To the 6th we go. Now 7-2.
Fox Sports celebrates 50 years of the Atlanta Braves.
For the first time in more than 20 years, there is a new signature on the ball as Rob Manfred takes over as commissioner. And Chip, I kind of feel like Vanna White to your Pat Sajak, but I hear you've got a little more on this.
Yeah. Nice job. Wow. Or Carol Merrill behind door number 1 on Let's Make a Deal. Yeah, we had a baseball seminar with Fox Sports during the offseason, and we had a Q&A with Rob Manfred at the ballroom out west in Los Angeles. And one of the guys in the room asked Rob Manfred, what's the coolest thing about being the 10th commissioner of Major League Baseball? It wasn't the big paycheck. It wasn't free access to the games or the corporate jet. He said, you know, when I looked at the baseball and I saw my signature on it, and my kids saw that my name was on the ball as the commissioner, he said that was pretty cool. And that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I'm really surprised though he didn't say, oh, it's definitely the money.
That's not too shabby either. But we wish Rob Manfred all the best, following the legacy of Bud Selig as the 10th commissioner. There's the signature. I wonder how many times he practiced before he picked out the signature that he liked the best for baseball.
You know, it was more than one. When you sign as a player that first bubblegum card contract, I'm sorry, no, the bat contract in the old days with Louisville Slugger, Millers and Bradsby, and so they would have your signature to put on your bat.
Right.
They would give you a sheet of paper as Jace Peterson draws a walk. Braves got a base runner first time in a couple of innings. They'd give you a sheet of paper that had about 8 lines drawn on it for you to sign your name, you know, 7 or 8 times, and then you could kind of check mark which one you liked the best.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I photocopied that sheet of paper. I must have sent 20 signatures in.
But that's, I mean, that's really cool, though, isn't it? I mean, you get to sign your name, and it's on the baseball that's played during the Major League Championship season. And we wish Bud Selig all the best in his quote-unquote retirement. He is apparently going to be a professor in Milwaukee. I'm sure he's still at home watching the games all the time. Obviously a huge baseball fan. We hope to see him when the Braves play in Milwaukee. There's a shot by Markakis into right field. He's trying to add on. Look at Peterson go first to third. Stanton's throw on target, but late.
Love it.
He never stopped running. Peterson outran the long throw by Stanton, and the Braves are in business in the 7th with men at first and third.
This is what you can anticipate the Braves attempting, challenging. He's checking out Stanton. He really didn't have his head down just hell-bent for leather. He was checking him out and then basically challenged him, and not too many people do that against Stanton. Gives you an idea of Peterson's speed.
So that presents Freddie Freeman with an RBI chance if he can hit the ball to the outfield. Down an RBI double.
And down 5 still here late. The Marlins infielders are in halfway. They would come home if the ball's hit sharply to them.
1 ball, no strikes. Sharply hit and through. Base hit, scores Peterson. Markakis makes the turn. He's headed to third. Freeman slides in safely with a hustle double.
Look at old Freddie go. Not that he was ever shy about trying to take an extra base, but he's enthused too by the good hustle by Peterson. Hard hit too, especially with the infield drawn in. Not much range available to them when they're drawn in like that, and challenging their arms again.
So 2 RBIs tonight for Freddie Freeman. Braves add to their lead. It's now 8-6. And Christian Bethancourt will dig in. A walk, a single, and a double here in the 7th. A 6-run lead is what I meant to say. Thank you, Joe. It's Dyson faces Bethancourt. The infield comes in with Christian up there and nobody out.
You got to figure if Christian's going to be the guy batting 5th behind Freddie most of the time, he's going to get a lot of RBI opportunities if teams have a chance to pitch around Freeman.
Bouncing ball foul. Remember, Freddie, they didn't pitch around him, still had 43 doubles last year, so he was in scoring position with his own good work at the plate. I think that'll be fun to watch. How does Bethancourt mature as a major league hitter?
Well, this is something that Kevin Seitzer talked about during the spring and stressed to these guys is, I don't need you to drive them both in. Just get one in.
Little dribbler. That won't get it done. Prado with a peg to first. 1 out. Now Kelly Johnson bats. Follow the Braves all year long in 2015 with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bats up to the moment, at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCasts, and more. At MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. They will load them up and go after Chris Johnson. So a 2-walk night for Kelly Johnson.
And this guy doesn't mess around on putting a guy on, does he?
Nope.
How hard is he throwing this pitch? In the 80s.
So they're loaded. And we showed you earlier what Chris Johnson has done to Marlins pitching the last season or so. He's already punished them with an RBI double and a run tonight.
And that was with the bases loaded in the first.
After the first pitch and rifled it foul past Bo Porter. Crowd tonight 17,483. Game 2. Not much for the home folks to cheer about tonight. No balls and a strike. Even count.
Pretty good fastball there. 94 right in on him. Work that Kevin Seitzer and Chris put in this spring, dealt a lot with his hands, trying to get his hands a little bit lower, more like shoulder high when he started to swing.
Sharply hit to Echeverria. There's one. There's two. The intentional walk turns to gold for the Marlins, and the Braves settle for one in the seventh. We stretch in Miami. Atlanta by 6.
Had some fireworks going on here offensively for Atlanta. 7 runs, 6 hits, a couple of walks, clutch hitting. Eric Young, 2 at-bats in the inning. He had a walk, a base hit, an RBI, a run scored, and a stolen base just in the first inning. And here's your Mazda breakdown of the night for some of these guys. And as you can see, a lot of A's on these Caps tonight. Offense having another good time.
Kind of like how we handled trivia in straight A fashion.
Yep.
And there's a couple of changes for the Braves. Here at the bottom of the 7th inning, EY moves from center to left. Cameron Maybin checks into play center field. And Cody Martin makes his debut tonight. This guy, I think, was in the running for a starting assignment in the latter days of spring training.
I think he's kind of the guy like Brad Hand was tonight for the Marlins. Long reliever, spot starter, spring training. Can't get much better than that. 6'3", 230. Dos Palos, California. He's not a real hard thrower. He is a guy who throws strikes. Not a lot of walks.
Pitched all year at Gwinnett last year. 26 starts, struck out 142 men in 156 innings. In fact, was 3rd in the International League in strikeouts. And finished 6th in ERA at 3.52.
And therein lies the reason why a lot of people thought he would not be in the Braves organization now.
He just threw 3 pitches. Jared Saltalamacchia took them all for strikes.
Right down Broadway with that one. Welcome to the big leagues, Cody.
His first strikeout.
Off the leather. Cody Martin was not on the 40-man roster over the wintertime. He was exposed to the Rule 5 draft. It came as a shock to everyone in the organization and a lot of people around baseball that he wasn't selected by anyone. So he came to camp as a non-roster invitee and pitched lights out.
Hey! 9 innings, no runs, with 8 strikeouts. 4 outings in Orlando. He's got his first big league strikeout under the belt. Now he's got Echeverria up there. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Marlins shortstop. Ichiro will be next.
So far, so good, I think.
Yeah, 2 up, 2 down on strikeouts. And time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question tonight. Of the last 50 years of Braves baseball in Atlanta, who holds the single season record for runs?
Man,
think about that for a
covers
while.
a lot of time, doesn't it?
Yep.
Runs.
Single season runs record.
as Ichiro takes strike. Told you last night about the great numbers Ichiro has put up in the major leagues. First Japanese player in the history of the Marlins franchise. He bounced that one to short. Let's see if he can outrun Simmons on it. He can. Welcome to the big leagues, Cody Martin. A
Great
perfect seventh inning. Day. This is Steve Cishek, the Miami closer. It's early season work as we kick off the ninth inning.
Had another good year for them. His third year, last 2.5 years as their closer. Let's see what problems he presents, especially to right-handed hitters. 6'6", 215.
Peterson skies one toward left. And Yelich put that in his back pocket. There's the first out.
When he took over as their closer in 2012, he wound up with 19 saves. Excuse me, 15 saves. And then in 2013, he was 34 out of 36. And last year, 39 out of 43. Very consistent for him. More good news on the construction site here.
Well, we had roof issues last night. As Nick Markakis passed, we just found out that the press elevator is inoperative. So your Achilles is going to get a nice early season workout.
No trouble.
One ball, one strike.
The rest of my organs that I'm worried about.
Yeah. Two more hits from Markakis tonight. He's knocked in 3 runs in his first 2 games as a Brave.
Good sinker from this guy. You just saw one there. Worked the lefties, and then the right-handers. He's got a big sweeping breaking ball. And his fastball's, I think, the pitch to Jace Peterson, 91. That's about where he sits. You can go a little harder than that.
Elbows, kneecaps.
Yep.
Right. And he just walked Markakis. But the Braves have been taking their share of walks in this series, haven't they? That's 6 earned tonight. And 7 so far for the series.
Good night for Freddie. 2 hard hit doubles.
2 RBIs. Nobody up in the Braves bullpen. Cody Martin's going to get a chance to finish it off and earn a save in his big league debut. Another 1.
10 hits all year long last year against the Marlins for Freeman. 19 games. He's already got 3 in the first 2.
Ball, 2 strikes. Good matchup tomorrow night. Shelby Miller in his Braves debut. Tom McCord will pitch for the Marlins. 7-10 first pitch. Jerome Chirinovich will anchor our Braves live programming pregame from our Atlanta studios. Jerome is standing by after our game with Braves Live. We'll hear from the clubhouse. Jen Hildreth will have interviews and analysis. Joe and I will be along to recap it as well. Another terrific start for the Braves here tonight. Braves Live is always presented by Xfinity.
Rifled to second, off D. Gordon and into shallow right field.
Give him a hit. That thing was hooking, and it was hooking at about 800 miles an hour. See Freddie telling Terry Pendleton what it was doing. And they are going to score it a hit. Good for him.
3-hit game for Freddie. Markakis will stop at second. And Christian Bethancourt will hit. See if he can hit it to somebody other than Martin Prado. He's done that his last 3 times up there. He's grounded to third 5 times in this series. Ball 1.
One of the keys for Cishek, especially to right-handed hitters, is getting ahead in the count, gaining on the line type save situations, so that he can utilize that big sweeping breaking ball to get the right-handers to fish for it. But he's 3-0.
And you can see the reaction of Bethancourt and the point you made earlier, how tough he can be against right-hand hitters. I mean, he's dancing out of the way of pitches that are 6 inches inside. Just took ball 4, so Cishek has loaded the bases, and he wants to talk to Saltalamacchia. Now Alberto Callaspo will hit for the pitcher. So Martin won't have a chance to pick up the save, but still Cody with 2 terrific innings, 4 strikeouts. Wrap up the series here tomorrow night. Braves live at 6:30. Then Friday we've got the home opener. The Mets will be in town. A 2-hour pregame show starts at 5:30 on Fox South. And then Saturday we're on Sports South 6:30. It's game 2 against the Mets. Julio Teheran and Dylan G will square off. In Sunday's game, Alex Wood, Bartolo Colon. Tough spot here for Cishek. Got a man that almost never strikes out. Told you last night that Callaspo punched out only 1 time this spring. That was in 69 at bats. So he'll put it in play. And slashes that one out of play. Strike 2. He got the start at third last night. Went 1 for 3 with a walk. And last year with Oakland, struck out 50 times in over 400 at bats.
His first look at Cishek, so it's a little different arm angle.
But you know what? These are important at bats. I mean, you might need Callaspo to come off the bench and hit in the 9th inning tomorrow night.
As for the Braves, I love this because a lot of guys are going to look at Cishek in case they need to see him and do something with the game on the line tomorrow night.
That curled around the plate. 2-2.
Kind of one of those odd situations for a closer in a non-save situation. In his first outing of the year, we got to say that. Having some trouble.
Line drive right field, base hit. Markakis will score standing up. Callaspo with a pinch hit RBI single. And it's a 9-2 Atlanta game.
Like something he left upstairs and gave Alberto a chance to stay with it. It was high and he hooked it. Knee high anyway, but off speed and had the middle of the plate.
And that's going to be the end of the line for Steve Cishek. The Marlins pitching staff in this game has thrown a whopping 174 pitches. And Cishek debuts with a couple of walks, a hit. Pair of hits, I should say, and a run allowed in the Atlanta 9th. Atlanta pouring it on late as well. They lead 9-2, still batting here
in the top of the 9th inning. Fans, Saturday, baseball returns to Fox Sports 1 with a doubleheader. Already the Red Sox and Yankees. Who'd have thunk it? That'll be in the Bronx, followed by a playoff rematch. The Royals face Mike Trout and the Angels. Coverage starts Saturday at 12:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Trout got off to a good start. First inning homer off King Felix, and that's about all the Angels got off him yesterday.
A-Rod got a big ovation from Yankee faithful, something David Phelps knows a thing or two about. He's a former Yankee. Came over in the Nathan Eovaldi deal in the offseason. And he too, maybe some starting pitcher insurance for the Marlins.
Yeah, key part of that deal. He's got a good arm. Gives him some depth in the bullpen. Kind of like Hand. He could start or relieve. Third time tonight. How about this? Sometimes you can go a month and not hit with the bases loaded. First game of the season, Chris Johnson up there for the third time with the bases loaded. And hit a double in the first.
Freeman, Bethancourt, and Callaspo, the runners for him here in the 9th. David Phelps out of St. Louis. The answer to a trivia question: who was the pitcher on the mound for the last 3 pitches of Derek Jeter's career with the Yankees? It was this guy, Phelps. Little pop, shallow right. Stanton will not get there. That'll drop for a blue pit, and that'll score Freddie Freeman. So Chris Johnson's season debut off to a roaring start. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a run. And the Braves have made it a 10-2 game. That run charged to Cishek. Hit game for Andrelton Simmons tonight. You've said it once, you've said it a million times. You got 3, get greedy, go for number 4. He was thinking about a big fly there and fouled it off.
I need to correct myself. Chris Johnson hit with 2 on in the first inning, not the bases loaded. But he's had ducks on the pond all night. I know that.
2 hits for him. 2 RBIs. As the Braves 10 runs on 13 hits. And Simmons down swinging for out number 2. Strikeout for Phelps. And Cameron Maybin will bat. Told the story last night. Cameron Maybin was watching one of ESPN's spring training telecasts, and the Braves were John Hart interviewed on the broadcast. He was talking about Kevin Seitzer's coaching methods and the philosophies he employs, and Cameron Maybin was watching from Peoria, Arizona, where the Padres have their spring training facility, and he was really locked in and took a great deal of interest to that interview. And he started incorporating Kevin Seitzer's philosophies into his pregame preparation. In fact, he went to Mark Kotze, who's one of the Padres coaches, and said, "Hey, is this all right? Because I like it and I'm going to do it." And 2 weeks later, Cameron Maybin found himself traded to the Atlanta Braves. Kevin Seitzer was talking about that with us and John Hart before the game yesterday. He said Maybin got here, knew exactly what our game plan is, what our approach is. He's locked in and ready to go.
Got a head start.
Yep. Happy to be in Braves country, North Carolina. Closer to home, and you know the pass list will be full for him on Friday night against New York.
left-hander going in that game for the Mets Friday night. Jonathan Neese. There's a chance if he doesn't, or if Gomes doesn't start tomorrow night here, good chance he'll be in there against the lefty on Friday night.
Deuce is wild for Maben. Play foul. Mets beat Washington. They're off tonight. Hey, tip of the cap to Buddy Carlisle. First big league save for New York. Henry Mejia, their closer, unavailable. Elbow questions. They have to get an MRI. Another crippling blow for New York. Already without Zach Wheeler. And Bobby Parnell. Line drive right center field. That'll get down for a run scoring hit. In fact, two of them are going to come home. And Chris Johnson on his way to third. Cameron Maben with a big hit for Atlanta. And it's a dirty dozen for the Braves in game 2. It's 12-2.
That was a terrific at bat by Cameron, too. Getting pounded with fastballs, and he was fighting them off and caught up with something there to go to right center with it. First hit as a Brave, first RBIs. Another high, belt high fastball.
Steve Cishek charged with a 4 spot in his relief work tonight. Braves again have batted around. That's how they started the game. In fact, 12-man hit in the first inning. Eric Young Jr. the 9th to hit in the 9th. Braves have 14 hits. You know what Shelby Miller's saying, don't you? Save a few for tomorrow. To second. Andy Gordon will send this game to the bottom of the 9th inning. Big night for the Braves. They're 3 outs away from a 2-0 start. He will follow Wood, Kenneth, and Cody Martin.
Now, for Juan Jaime, it's all about strikes. Take a look. 9 games in spring training, 8 2/3 innings. He walked 11 guys. He also struck out 9. 3 of those, I think, in his last appearance in 1 inning against the Orioles. Hard thrower, closer capability type stuff, but he's got to throw strikes, and his longevity, I'll say, at this level will be dictated on some command.
.95 with a lot of movement. That might have surprised Martin Prado, who took it high and tight for ball 1. Talked about the script for game 1. I think the script for game 2 has gone perfectly for the Braves as far as evaluating their young relief corps. Big lead, low leverage situations, let them come in, get their feet wet in a 10-run game. Still going to throw strikes.
Yeah, it doesn't do any good just to rear back and throw it as hard as you can if you don't have some semblance of command.
A 4-pitch walk to Martin Prado.
What was the kid's name with Cubs? Hard thrower guy that he might walk the ballpark one night.
Frankly, Joe, there were so many. Carlos Marmol.
Carlos Marmol.
Yeah.
There's some similarities here.
Yeah.
Great arm. Throws hard.
It sounds easy to do, and I'm sure it's not. Otherwise, guys would do it. 93 is good enough. If you can throw 93 for strikes, that's a whole lot better than 95, and you don't know where it goes, right?
Well, you can always go back to 95 when you want to air one out once you get some strikes in the book. So he walks Martin on 4 straight, comes right back with 2 quick strikes down the middle. Here to Ozuna.
I mean, you saw on that shot of the dugout. Freddie's reaction to the 4-pitch walk to Prado. Good. Let him hit it. A 12-2 game. Ozuna, then Saltalamacchia for Miami in the ninth. Bethencourt's getting a workout back there.
See, what happens is Freddie knows that he's capable of coming in and blowing the whole lineup away. But in close situations, tight situations, close leads, if you don't know what you're going to get, it's kind of, you're reluctant to go down there. And get home.
Bethencourt, another saving stab.
You got the infielders talking to him now too. Andrelton, I don't want to say barking at him. Andrelton cheering him on, would say. Here's Christian. Come on.
Popped him up. Simmons out. Says he's got it. And he does for the first out of the ninth inning.
And he's amped up. It's his first outing of the year too. He's made the ball club. He wants to show what he's got. So there's a little bit of adrenaline flow in there that he's got to try to get under control. Hang loose back there, Christian. Calm down. Slow down. Take a deep breath. There you go. 94 right there. Bethencourt doing everything he can to try to let Jaime know that he's just relax.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Saltalamacchia. And he blew him away.
It's like a changeup, 85-mile-an-hour changeup that he got Ozuna to swing at too.
Open for the Express, got the local, and Braves are out away for Adeiny Echeverria.
Great start, huh?
Yep.
Offensively, just a tremendous start with all the little things they did right yesterday and the great first inning tonight.
And 3 rookies, assuming Jaime gets out of the 9th inning, who combined for 4 innings of scoreless relief of Alex Wood. Case of Kenneth and Martin, their big league debuts.
Couldn't have been a worse start for the Marlins.
Yeah.
With Lato's first start, they were wondering a little bit about him anyway after a rough spring. To only get 1 out. And get just ripped like he did.
Not much velocity, not much movement. And a whole lot of backing up bags for Latos. Gave up 6 hits and 7 runs tonight. Their highlight tonight was Brad Hand's 4 1/3 innings of 1 hit relief. RBIs from Gordon and Donovan Solano. Echeverria.
Give Matt credit for sticking it around and staying in the dugout, taking his medicine tonight.
Yeah, the loss is one thing, but he knows that bad start really taxed the Marlins bullpen here in the second game of the year. No starting pitcher likes to do that.
Well, like you said, Hand was theoretically going to have to take one for the team. I mean, he's capable because he's part-time starter, part-time reliever. He did a great job to save him as much as he did.
Sharply hit. Simmons plays the short hop, and a throw to first puts that one in the win column for the Braves. 12-2 is your final score. Alex Wood earns his first victory of the year, and Joe, this game was won offensively in the first, and maybe Alex won it by a big double play ball in the bottom half of the inning.
Could very well have been the difference in the ball game. It's our SunTrust save of the game, and it came on a strikeout with the bases loaded, nobody out, and then this 5-4-3 double play to get him out of the inning. No runs across, and it kept the game at 7-zip.
So who would have thought this? The Braves have a chance to sweep their first series of the season on the road in Miami, and our Chevron starting pitchers for Game 3. As we tip things off at Braves Live at 6:30, Shelby Miller will make his Atlanta debut against a man we've seen plenty of, Tom Kohler, a 10-game winner himself.
Can't wait to see Shelby out there. I know Braves fans are anxious to get their first look at him in a Braves uniform too.
Big win for Atlanta tonight, 12 runs on 14 hits. Atlanta is 2-0, and we'll try to sweep Miami here tomorrow night.